Hello, estudiantes. Okay, so the next problem is a word problem, and I was told that because of the amount of vocab in it, that it was confusing when I did it in Spanish because my vocab is significantly weaker in Spanish. So I'm going to do this one problem in English for this video. Por la segunda parte de ese video, yo tengo un otro problema y ese problema es en español. Entonces, if you want to skip ahead, go for it. But I'm going to cover this one problem in English just to make sure that it makes sense so that I don't misspeak or my grammar isn't confusing or whatever. So what we need to do is we need to find the equation for this function e of x. And we know that because of the way the problem is phrased, we know that it's broken up into three distinct domains. So we're going to have our piecewise function, where the first domain is going to be all money made that's less than $4,500. In fact, up to $4,500. So we're going to begin with x being less than or equal to 0, greater than or equal to 4,500, sorry, 4,500. And for this, your base pay is going to be $500. And we know this because the problem states right here that you get paid a base rate of $5,000 and you get 7% on, and then you get an additional 11% on all money, on all the sales that you make over the 4,500. So for the first 4,500, you don't get any commission. So we're just going to get the base pay of 500. Now for the next section, it's going to be from 4,500 to 11,000. So our next one is going to be 4,500, and it's going to not include this one, obviously, because we're going to now start counting, not include. So because we're going to start counting the percents for money after that. So at 4,500, you're still on the $500 pay rate. And then we're going to go all the way up to and equal to 11,000 because less than 11,000, because at 11,000, our commission doesn't change, but we're going to get this bonus. So right now we're sitting right here, and what we have is we have our original base pay, so it's going to be $500, and then we're going to add to that 5%, the 11% times the amount that we've made minus the first $4,500, because if you make, let's say, $6,000 here, right? If you sell $6,000 worth of stuff, then you're going to get your $500 pay, and then on top of that, you're going to get commission on the $1,500 that's greater than the 4,500. Because you don't get commission here, you get commission on what's over it. So you're going to get commission on the difference between these two, which is going to be the 11%, which is 0.11. So for the general form, we're just going to have the amount that you sold minus the 4,500 times the 11%. So that's going to be our formula. Now, once you go over the 11,000 mark, so for x is equal to or greater than the 11,000 number, then what you're going to get is going to be $500. That's your base pay. And then you're going to get an additional 300. So you're going to get 800. And it's going to be the same amount of commission because the commission doesn't change as you go higher. So the amount that's the commission, which is this part here, is going to stay the same. So we're going to get this. So that's going to be the full equation for the function. We split up the domain based on when the pay rate changes. The pay rate changes when you start getting commission. So it's going to change at the first point here. So that's going to be our first break where we go from this line, from this one down to that one. And then it's going to change again when we hit 11,000 because you're going to get your bonus. So at 11,000, you're going to switch again, and we're going to go from a $500 base pay to an $800 base pay. So that's going to be the second problem. you just, as you read it, you find the trick with these is going to be finding the places in which the domain switches in your piecewise function, and then figuring out what the calculation needs to be when you're inside that given domain. So you first figure out where the domains are, and then figure out what the values should be at those domains. Okay. La final problema, yo necesito la ecuación por f de x y es equivalente en la otro problema. Entonces, yo necesito yo necesito los dominios de las funciones. La primera dominio es aquí, es todo valor de x menos menor negativo 1. Entonces, es x es menos negativo 1, menos o igual, porque por ese punto es en ese dominio. La segunda interval es negativo 1 a 2. Entonces, x es más o igual, más negativo 1 y menor 2. ¿Por qué menor y no menor igual? Es la punto es no en la palabra. Palabra? Not sure what the word is there. I think palabra. Okay. Por la final dominio es aquí y es 2, 3 y 4. Entonces es x es más o igual 2 o menor o igual 4. Ok. Primera, yo necesito el valor de f de x en la primera interval. Entonces, yo necesito la ecuación por esa línea. Pero yo tengo 2 puntos. Es negativo 2 a 0. Y la otra aquí es negativo 1, negativo 1. Entonces, la pendiente de la línea es negativo 1 menos negativo 1. Perdón, es negativo 1 menos negativo 2 y sobre negativo 1 menos 0. Entonces, es 1 sobre negativo 1 es negativo 1. Es la pendiente de la línea. Entonces, porque una línea es en la forma y igual mx más b, yo tengo m es negativo 1. Entonces es negativo x más b. Negativo x más b. Pero, ¿qué es b? B es la intercepción de y. Entonces, yo necesito la otra forma de la línea, y menos y1 igual x, pendiente m por x menos x sub 1. Pero la pendiente es negativo 1. Entonces, un punto es x sub 1, y sub 1. Entonces, es no aquí. Y la valor de x sub 1 es negativo 2. Negativo 2. Entonces, es más 2. Entonces, y es equivalente negativo x menos 2. Entonces, es menos 2. Próximo, yo necesito la forma de la palabra y es x cuadrado, pero es negativo porque todo valor es menos 0. Entonces es negativo x cuadrado. ¿Por qué? 1 cuadrado es 1, entonces negativo 1. Y por 2 yo tengo negativo 4. Entonces es solo negativo x cuadrado. Y la final es una función constante, es solo la valor 1 por todo valor de x, 2 a 4. ¿Ok? Entonces, esa es la ecuación por la función f de x a la gráfica. Ok, en el próximo video yo tengo problemas de sección 1.7. Adiós.